There is a flame that burns eternal at the center of your being. Just like the molten core of the planet, that fiery energy, that unfathomable power, that's what we are. It is who you are. True power is not power over others. It is the power under. The power underneath all that we create in this life, individually and collectively. Focus on the flame. Breathe in to that flame, to that light of spirit at the center of your being. And know that that light can never be extinguished.
Die, 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 I am alive, and who is this aliveness in me? And who is this aliveness in me, if not the Holy Blessed One? I learned this song from Rabbi Rami Shapiro, and it's actually an ancient Hebrew spiritual that he had translated. And I love this. I love this for a few reasons. Because it's just this simple tune, and it says, die, da, 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 but it speaks and sings to way back when the truth of spirit in me, spirit in you. I am alive, and who is this aliveness in me, if not the Holy Blessed One? I mean, we've been singing songs about this and telling stories about this oneness that is living itself in me, in you, for millennia. And people ask me, what does spirit in me mean? That's what it means. Your aliveness is the aliveness of spirit itself, living in you. Brooke Medicine Eagle says spirit lives in you. It lives within your body and every cell. You can touch the Great Spirit by touching into your own aliveness. You can touch the Great Spirit by touching into your aliveness. And I believe that's really the only way we can touch spirit. The only way we can experience spirit. Beyond our mental gymnastics about God, beyond even our beliefs about God, the place we can touch God, the place we can feel that those ideas are true is in our own beings, in our own bodies. I mean, where else do you feel anything? Where else do you actually have understanding if not in your own mind? And if God is present in all things at all the times, which is what we teach, which is what the Hebrews were singing about, which is what Brooke Medicine Eagle is talking about, what Ernest Holmes said, we believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. That the highest God and the innermost God is one God that goes by many names. Great Spirit. This truth is the first step of transformation. This path of transformation that I talk about. that we offer here at the center begins with coming to terms with making realization that Spirit is in you. Spirit is in me. And not only do we need to do the mental wrestling, wrap our brains around, oh my goodness, omnipresence in all places at all times. Okay. We got to do that wrestling, which is why we study, which is why we read all the great books, which is why we find these incredible songs, which is why we take classes. Because we need to do this, we need to wrestle with the idea, we need to wrestle with the belief we have around the idea. And then we got to wrestle with the beliefs we have around the idea that we didn't even know we had. And the only way we can do that wrestling is by first saying, yes, I am ready. I say yes to transformation. Let me take that first step. Let me begin to believe in this idea that Spirit, God, Great Spirit, the Almighty, the One, the Holy Blessed One is in me. It is not just a cute saying that Michael Beckwith came up with decades ago. It is a truth. The highest God and the innermost God. Same God, not different gods. The gods of all the different names, not different gods. One God, the Holy Blessed One. I love that translation from Hebrew. The Holy Blessed One is living itself in me, in you. We not only have to do the mental wrestling with our ideas and our beliefs and our thoughts about this, but we also have to be willing to embody it. Be willing to take it past what we think and bring it into our felt experience. I sort of think of grace in this way. Grace is one of those words it's a little bit hard to understand or have a solid meaning around. But when I am experiencing grace, and I'm experiencing God moving in me, God moving in my life, when I am able to know that I know in my bones, in my flesh, that God is present, that's my experience of grace. And I believe in this path of transformation, when we say yes to Spirit in me, we allow ourselves to be inspired to that truth. We allow ourselves to be filled with grace, to be filled with God. We allow ourselves to not only recognize that as true, but we begin to realize that it's true. It becomes real, becomes flesh. Word becomes flesh. That's the process of Spirit in me. That's the goal of Spirit in me. That first step of our pathway. And here's what I know you will need on that part of your journey. Courage. Courage is defined as the word coming from Old French, to make strong. So here's the thing. I've heard a lot of folks say to me in their own journeys and in counseling sessions and just in conversation around the center and even outside the center that it's hard. It's hard to really wrap our minds around that. And I get it in my own life. I would say the biggest wrestling time in my own spiritual journey was after I went through this incredibly dark night of the soul, through my late teens and early 20s, I mean dark and dark and dark, y'all, and came to this quest for God, I had no problem believing in a higher power. I had no problem believing in a greater intelligence. I had no problem believing that God was in everything seen and beyond what is seen. None of that was hard for me to wrestle with. Made perfect sense to me, scientifically made sense to me. But where I stumbled. Where I just fell flat on my face, actually, probably a bunch of times, was wrapping my head around being able to honestly believe that Spirit, God, this great intelligence, this mystery beyond mysteries, was in me. I had no trouble believing and having faith in this God outside of me. That was pretty easy peasy. God, you got this? Cool, just let me know how it goes. I'm gonna just go ahead and give this over to you, God. That, no problem. Beginning to understand that this God I was giving stuff to was living in me. This was years, y'all, years. Sitting in churches, sitting in 12-step meetings, wrestling, like, really? Could that really be true? Okay, I can get the idea. I get the idea. Omnipresence means all places, all times, without a beat, not missing anywhere. Which just logically means it has to be here too. Okay, I can buy that. Can you buy that? Okay, I can buy it too. But can I feel it? Can I live it? Can I be in relationship with that truth? Can I put my hands on my own body and know that I am putting my hands on God? That took a while. That took a long while. And the courage it required me to keep coming back to that wrestle. Because what I ran into, and I know many of you run into and may be running into right now, was if I spend that kind of time with myself, if I look that deeply at myself, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hang with what I find. Because there were some dark nights, y'all. I wasn't sure that what I would discover on an inward journey would be tolerable. I kind of liked the idea that there was going to be this superhero Santa Claus God that I could just like be homies with and would just swoop on in and take care of some stuff. But if I had to begin to make real this idea that God was right where I was and was living in me, and that I had this like full access, it also seemed to imply that I had a responsibility. It also seemed to imply that what I did with my life, that what I believed about myself had to change. Oh, really? I'd already done a lot of changing in my life. But I knew, and you may be struggling with this too, I knew that if I let that be really true, like for really, real true, like, oh my God, this skin with this tattoo is true, and God is in me, how is that going to require me to be different, to change, to understand myself differently, to confront the things that are out of alignment with that truth in my life, to confront the things that were going on in my own belief system that were out of alignment with the truth of who I am. Oh, that's a lot. And I know. That's why we only have 3 steps on the pathway. Because, these are not steps you take like, on Tuesday I'm going to take that first step of the pathway. Gosh, there's a lot of steps on that pathway. A lot of steps. But holy cow, are they worth it? Holy cow, is it worth mustering up the courage, the strength to take those steps, to turn your attention entirely within, because you will discover, like I discovered, how gorgeous and beautiful you are. There could be no other possibility, because God ain't ugly, which means you are all that God is. How exciting is that? Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, says, no matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be, there is always something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but always there is the eternal voice forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings. That eternal voice is in each of us, without fail. That longing for wholeness, that actual desire to feel the truth of who we are, to lose the doubt, to move in profound faith, not into that Santa Claus God, not into that God out there, but into the Holy Blessed One. Faith in God in me, Spirit in you. That quest is always inviting us. That desire, that longing that you may be feeling right now, that you may be naming a longing for peace, a longing for joy, a longing for happiness, a longing for solitude. Anybody else longing for that as the world opens up? My goodness. But all of those longings, that's Spirit whispering us, guiding us, pointing us towards our wholeness. Because peace and joy and happiness and love and all the good things are God, are characteristics of the Holy Blessed One, which means they live in us. There's nothing we've got to do to have that experience, except be willing to know and claim and embody that truth. Be willing to get to know the truth of who we are. Be willing to not only turn our attention within, but to hang out in there. To make friends with all that we find in there. To confront the parts of the stuff going on in there that maybe we would much rather just, put to the side. It takes courage. And I know God is also strength. God is also power. And we have that strength and that power in us, along with all those other good God things. And so when we say yes to that step and that next step, we're saying yes to ourselves. We're saying yes to the divinity that is our nature, that is what we are made of. We are saying yes to the goodness that we are. Even as we stumble, even as we go through the storms, that eternal whisper, that quest that we are on never goes away. It is forever whispering and singing its song to us, as us, through us, in us. And it is as we attend to it. It is as we practice how to get in there. And you've heard me say this 8 million times if you've heard me at all. Getting still, meditating, going within, and spending time in that space. There's no better way than to answer the longing. There's no better way to take the steps to Spirit in me. And so one of the things I want to invite you to do, you can even take a moment right now and just breathe with me. Turning your attention right into the center of your own being for just a few breaths. Beginning to notice that gorgeous creature that you are. And notice how alive you are. And you are alive with the Holy Blessed One. How good is that? Let's anchor this in prayer. There is only one Holy Blessed One, the one that has traveled all of time and space in all places at all times, never missing, in absolute perfection. And that one is here now. That one is in you. That one is in me. And that one is in every cell and every bit and juicy piece of life that we can see, that we cannot see, that we understand, and that is beyond our understanding. That is how amazing that one is. And that amazing one is in you. Which means the amazingness that you are is God's amazingness. I am so grateful for the beauty and wonder and awe of how good God is as you, in you and me, in life itself, in all the ways that I don't understand. My gratitude is immeasurable. So I just let it continue to unfold and blossom and grow and expand in my awareness, knowing it is bigger than I can imagine, but how grateful I am that I get to become more and more aware of this truth. Spirit in me, Spirit in you. And so it is.
And so it is. The flame of truth burning within each of us. The flame of truth that animates our being. Itself born out of the darkness like the stars, becoming light, illuminating the flame of love.
Hello, I am Reverend Amani Malaika. I am so glad you are watching today. We have been thrilled to reach thousands over this last year through our online inspirational content. I am so excited about Spirit Speaks. I am so excited about all that our team is doing to transform the lives of people around the world. And I invite you to join us by supporting this work. You can text to give. The instructions are on the screen, and I am so grateful for every contribution you make. Thank you.